Sony still has my FX6. I sent it into them. I've got the reception notice. So I'm hoping they're working hard to figure it out, or maybe there's a long line of products being sent in, but I just want to know, what is the issue? Is it going to be the fact that I had a third-party power supply, my Tilta V-mount plate with a V-mount battery, which originally I thought was my core battery, but when I looked at the footage, it's the SmallRig 212. That could be a player as well because that's a fairly new battery. So SmallRig 212 watt hour going into the Tilta plate and then into the little DC input. Or is it the media? I used Angelbird V90 SD cards, which are older, just generally less robust than CF Express. And I wanted to catch you guys up to speed on like what I've learned, even though I don't have the camera back yet, because I've got so much input from these videos. Like I have a whole documentary series that I'm wanting to put out, but I just need to finish this first. Because a lot of people are interested. A lot of people are saying, oh, I bought Tilta. Should I return it and get something else and get the wooden camera? And if you've seen the last video, the wooden camera plate was used by another person who had the exact same error and fried his FX9. So right now I'm looking at all third-party power options as being susceptible to this peripheral issue. That is what the error code said. E95-125 is the main board was damaged because of peripheral accessories. And the Tilta plate is the only real peripheral one. I had a lot of people say, you're trying to locate one problem, and it could be a combination. It could be a power spike from the battery. The Tilta didn't regulate it. And which caused the non-OEM media to be affected from the main board, and now the main board is affected, vice versa, something like that. And that's completely accurate because I don't have conclusive evidence right now. My working theory is let's remove vulnerabilities. So if that error code said peripheral accessories are the issue, I don't want to, but I could go back to Sony BPU batteries, which are wildly expensive. A 100 watt hour is around $500, and a 100 watt hour for V-mount is about $100. And you get no additional power out options. And that is probably one of my favorite things about having the V-mount and an electronic plate is, one, I don't have to pull out the D-taps on the battery whenever I switch batteries. And also, I can get more outputs than just what the battery has. I do like the core batteries because it has the time remaining capacity of the charge remaining, and that's really helpful. But I need to figure out, is it, if I go with this ideology that if you use all OEM products, then you are reducing your vulnerability points, then that means I would go away with the V-mounts, I would go back to BPUs, and that extends to the media as well. So in general, I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to update my media. It could be the simple fact that I've had those Angelbird SD cards for over 2 years. I had them with my C70, I had them with my FX6, and maybe they were weaker, and when something else happened, it all worked together and had an issue. It could be that. So I need to get new media. Now, the new media suggestions that I've gotten from you guys are a lot of, I believe it's Pro Grade. It comes with a warranty. It comes with software where you can check the health of the card, which sounds really nice. And they are a fraction of the cost of the Sony OEM CF Express Type A. Title of this video is because I had all of the Sony CF Express cards in my B&H cart, and B&H was on holiday, so I had to wait about 7 days, and as soon as they opened back up, I got a little lazy and I was like, well, maybe I should think more about, should I get CF Express Type A from Sony or from ProGrade or from someone else? And when I decided, you know what, we're trying to reduce vulnerabilities, right? So go with the OEM manufactured product. Yeah, it sounds like a great idea. I was 49 minutes too late. It was 12:49 a.m. and the deal was gone. And it was a massive deal. It was about 30% off. These cards are expensive for me. And the final bill without the discount was $3,000. With the discount was $2,000. And I was gonna get 4 320 gigabyte cards, basically so I can dual record, same capacities, everything, and 2 Sony card readers so that I have a backup. And with the discount, it was like a little over 2,000, and I waited too long. And this is like more of a personality issue for me, because I wait and I'm hesitant on so many things, and I say like, I'm gonna go at my speed. I'm gonna think that the world moves with my flow, and it just doesn't. And it's ruined a lot of things. Sometimes it's helped me because I've been patient, or mostly inactive, and it's worked out. In this case, it did not work out. So 49 minutes after, I sent B&H and I said, I had these in my cart. I'm just this much late. Is there any way you can match the price from yesterday? And they said, no, we can't. They did say, we'll give you a little bit off. So like, it's kind of like 10% off. And we can only do it on one of those bundles, because I was getting 2 cards and a reader, 2 cards and a reader. They're like, you can only buy one, and we won't give you the full discount. Free money is free money, I'll take it. So my laptop's right there, still being inactive, because I just wanted to put this out, just kind of get this brain dump out. That is gonna be what I'm gonna purchase tonight, because the coupon code they gave me ends tonight. So that means media, done. So now I gotta look at power supply. And power supply is related to monitoring, because this is the Sony OEM LCD, and I love the articulation. I do think they made like a really good design, but it's dim, it's not sharp, and it's small. So I had just used my small HD 502 Bright, and I love this monitor. You can do HDMI, you can do SDI, you can cross convert, and you can power through a dummy battery, which is what I was doing. And I did this route because bigger, brighter, sharper, and also I don't want to keep replacing these batteries. So I was just powering through my V-mount, and that worked really well. But if I'm going to go back to OEM batteries, BPUs, I need to think about what is my power supply on here, because I had a perfect rig. It was great. The balance was perfect. The articulation of this monitor was perfect, and I don't want to switch it up. But if I take out all that counterweight on the back, the V-mounts, now it's going to be much more front heavy. So while I'm debating this, the idea of maybe just go with this one was kind of emphasized because last night I watched some new modules or new videos that were added to module 2 for the Art of Documentary, and it was a breakdown of Michael Delmonte's new documentary that he's been working on for 6 years or so. It's finally out. It's on YouTube. Highly recommend it. It's a really good film. But the great part for me, the nerd in me, is I can watch it and then I can go to AOD. This is not a pitch, by the way. And I can watch the behind the scenes of how it was done. So of course I went straight to the gear that I used, BTS part of it, and he just used a regular FS7 Mark I. He said it was an intentional choice to not use V-mount because he was following this homeless guy around the city for years, and sometimes would have to be filming with a bike. So the FS7 is kind of heavy enough already. So he just wanted to eliminate the V-mounts and additional cables and more failure opportunities. And then he used the stock FS7 monitor, which is, I feel like, even worse than this one. And it was an amazing film. It was really, really good. He shot it all on the 16-35 on, you know, on Super 35. So I was just like, yeah, that's the complexity level I want to get at. Just simple, easy, let the camera shoot so I can think about other things. But I'm not someone who can make it that easy. I have to complicate it. So the FX6 is very lightweight. So if you throw a monitor way out in front like this, it's really gonna mess up with the balance. If you throw this monitor out in front, it's not. And you still regain all of your touch controls, autofocus if you use it. But I do like this, and this is not that heavy. So let's say the FX6 was here, and I got my VCT, I got a little shoulder pad. I really like this, but once you remove the V-mount, like I said, counterbalance goes out the window, and you would have to put the camera like back here to have any type of counterweight. Problem with doing that is you need this monitor further away than this. This is impossible. And there's no loop for the FX6. I know you can adapt from the 9, but you would have to push this out way forward. And at that point, you are past the extent of this cable length. So you're actually limited. Now, I believe Mid 49 has some cable extenders. You can do 10-inch, 3 feet, and I think 10 feet. So 10-inch would be fine. To push this out a little bit in front, and trying to work within both of those limits of small, compact, but usable. You just can't use it when the monitor is so close. And it's, I don't know, I could be resorting back to what works easiest, and then as soon as I open YouTube or Instagram, I see everybody who is using V-mount with their FX6, and I'm like, so maybe I just got unlucky. My decisions that will be regardless of what Sony says is updating the media to Sony media, and unfortunately switching away from that Tilta plate. I love that plate up until last week. I still don't know if it's the culprit, but I had a great kind of bit of insight from Alistair Chapman, the big Sony ambassador guy. And someone else asked him, what's the lesser of two evils? Let's say I go BPU, but I get a third-party BPU with DTAP, so I can power something else. Or going through a V-mount plate, whichever the safest V-mount plate you think it is, going through that one. And his advice was just, well, if we are plugging directly into the pins of the body, we're just removing a few failure opportunities. We're removing the electronic plate. We are removing the cable into the DC port, and also the connection of that cable into the port. By that, you would say, okay, the third-party BPUs would be the better or safer option. But I don't know if I want to do that. I'm trying to think of what is the safest option, not the mid-tier option, because I feel like Tilta was very mid-tier. Angelbird was very mid-tier. I'm trying to go with very good, very safe. And I'm kind of at a standstill right now, waiting for Sony to give me feedback, waiting for that repair price. Like I said, I will purchase the Sony cards, but does anybody here use regular BPU batteries with their FX6? How do you have it rigged up, especially if you're using it on the shoulder? How do you have it rigged up? Because the other option is to just put 2 little rods right here and a little V-mount plate, and that will power the monitor, which would separate the power supply, so that's safe. It would be just a little bit more annoying to have to, you know, have 2 systems of power, especially for charging. I love that I only have to bring my V-mount charger and then that's it. With this system, I'd have to bring the V-mount charger and the Sony BP charger, as well as multiple batteries for each, which can just become a lot. And like I said, simple, simple, simple. That's what I want to get to. But yeah, watching that Art of Documentary breakdown and seeing him just have an FS7 with the integrated side handle that connects to the body, doesn't need anything else, and the little lame shoulder pad, but it's still something. The FS7 looks like really, really good for that type of work. I don't want to jump backwards, but because there's too many of the bells and whistles that I like on the FX6. But that really seemed like they found the balance between functionality and ergonomics. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Sony says and just learning so much, because people are just giving me all of their ideas. Some of them are extremely redundant. I keep getting the recommendation, get the wooden camera plate. And I'm like, watch the last video. The last guy fried his FX9. But overall, it's been extremely helpful. And I think collectively, I know it's helping me, but I'm also getting a bunch of comments of people saying like, please update, because we would like to be informed as well on how these products perform. So as soon as I get that Sony update from the Sony techs, the repair center, I will bring it here.